Hello, 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 everybody. Hi, it's How to Tuesday. Yay! So tonight is all about caves. We're going to learn how to paint caves, and this is your practice session to make your paintings that much better. Okay, so if you have any questions, make sure you ask them. This is your time. This is your time to figure stuff out. We'll try to stay on topic, but if you have any questions for me, let me know. I'm a self-taught painter. I've been painting for a very long time, and I'll let you know what I know. Okay, so say hello, hello, hello if you're practicing with us tonight. Let me know if anyone's practicing with us tonight. Of course, we have to say hi to you know who. He's lounging. He's out of here, pup. All right, let's take a look at my handy dandy table we got going on. So, of course, I have my water, I have my paint, same colors every single time we paint. Blue, red, yellow, white, and black. I've got a whole bunch of brushes here. I'll let you know what I'm using when I'm using it. Okay, to clean your brush, you want to swirl in your water, tap on the side, dab on your paper towel in the shape of the bristles. You want them to be wet and not dripping. And, of course, the Java, because we got to keep me moving. Hello, 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 Lisa V. How you doing, sweetheart? Hi, Tina M. How you doing, lovey? Tina's here. Diane got her internet to work. Oh, yeah. So we're rocking and rolling. Cheryl, thank you so much. I was playing with my curling iron because it was all over the place. And I was like, ooh, we need to tame this. Thank you so much for that, Cheryl. So, Lisa V, Tina M, Diane, Cheryl's in the house. Say hello, hello, hello if you're practicing with us tonight. Get out your mixed media paper. Get out your, canvas or canvas board. Get out your, whatever you're working on. Don't matter. Work on whatever you want to work on. It's your practice session. It doesn't matter to me. So I figured we'd do a really cool scene. I'm going to do a really cool scene with a cave. Alright, so we're going to get started on that. Like I said, if you have any questions, 6,000% ask me. I will try to answer them as best as I can. Okay, we got to hook the charger in here. Hello, 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 Tina B. Hi, Cynthia. Lisa V's laughing at me with my hair because she knows what's up. She knows the deal. One day you're going to get your hands on my hair. Well, it's going to be time to cut it soon. It's going to be time to donate it soon, Lisa V. So that's the only reason I'm growing it out, because I want to donate it. I think I need like either 6 or 8 inches, something like that. Something's going on. It's one of those. I forget. You guys remember last year when I cut my hair really short? That's because I donated it. So that's what I'm going to do every year. I'm just going to grow it to donate it. 10 inches? All right. Hi, Cynthia. How you doing? So I just want to remind everybody that all my videos are kid-friendly, so I'm going to try to watch this thing. You guys try to watch the comments. They are all free to watch. Yes, so my hair grows rather quickly, as you know, with all the bang cuts I do. So that's what I'm going to do. And always free to watch. Stars is enabled. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, all the links are on my page. I don't dye my hair very often, so it doesn't get damaged. And they do take the dyed hair. I know that much. 2 16-inch pigtails. Oh my goodness, that was a good donation. That was really good. That was an excellent donation. All right, so I'm swirl tap dabbing Big Boy. He is a 1-inch flat. And hi, Gracie. How you doing, lovey? Good evening. Good evening, Gracie. So I'm gonna take Big Boy. He is a 1-inch flat. And we're going to do yellow, right? And so what I want to do tonight is I want to do a cave, and I'm going to have sunlight coming into the cave and maybe some water. You're still working on the snail, Patty, Dreamcatcher, Can you make up my mind? You'll get there, Diane. You'll get there. No worries. No worries. So, I am just taking yellow paint. Remember what I said about yellow paint, right? You need it to be bigger than what you actually want it, because it gets chewed up really fast. Right, guys? So we're going to do a bigger space than what I actually wanted. So the idea is I'm going to do a cave, and we're going to have sunlight going into the cave, and foliage is all on the outside of the cave. I kind of have this image in my head. One of the painters out there did an image like this. And of course, I can't remember his name now. He's French. I don't know, Lisa V. Maybe you'll know. I can't. It just slipped. I want to say Frederick something, and I'm probably totally wrong. So anyway, he did an image like this. So I just want to give props, because that's like what I have in my head is something that he did, and so I just want to give props out to the person who did the original. And I'm going to do yellow coming all the way down into here. Okay, so I know that my light source is going to be coming into my cave that way. So I am pre-planning. I am pre-planning that, you know, I'm going to have the light in this area. Now, is most of this yellow going to get covered up? Absolutely. It's just for me. Remember, I talk a lot nowadays, guys, about, like, starting to have your brain as you're painting. Even though I'm just painting yellow already in my head, I'm thinking about what I'm putting where. Like, I'm going to have foliage here. I'm going to have the cave opening. I'm going to have the sunlight streaming in this way. So those are the things as you're painting that you want to start pre-planning in your head. Alright, so this way, or if you're looking at a picture, you know, you start to kind of map it out in your brain before you even put stuff on the canvas. So I'm grabbing a fluffy. What? Those of you that got my my brush sets, Swirl Tap Dab Fluffy, and we matched them the paper towel. Those of you who got my brush sets, you got your own fluffies. Oh, yeah. Fluffies are in the house. Hi, Carolyn. How you doing? Kelly's here. Hello, 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 Carolyn. Hi, Kelly. So, I got to call you Carolyn because we have a few different Carols. So, welcome back, sweetheart. All right, so I'm going to grab yellow, and I'm going to grab blue, and I'm going to grab a smidge of white. A smidge of white, and I'm going to smush. We're smushing. That's what we're doing. We're smushing. That's all I'm going to be doing. I'm smushing. Alright, and I'm going to go here, there, not everywhere. Okay, and we're going to smush. We're going to smush around. Right? So, yellow, blue, and white. You made it! Yay! Hello, Carolyn. How you doing, lovey? So, I am just smushing here, there, not everywhere. And my yellow is still wet, which is sweet, because I don't have to work on making this part lighter, because it is lighter just because my paint is wet. So, which is always an easier thing. So I am just grabbing blue, yellow, and white. That is all I'm grabbing, and I'm putting in these smushy areas because that's going to be my green areas. I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet. Are we surprised at that? I don't know what I'm doing exactly. All I know is I need some color on this canvas. So that's what I'm doing, and I am just smushing in these little green areas, and we'll see what happens when we get there. I don't think I'm going to need it in here, so I'm just going to fill this in by rubbing, because that is going to be cave. And the same over here. I'm just going to fill this in by rubbing, because this is going to be cave. So I am just getting some color on here. Kind of remember what I said about planning my cave shape, whatever I want to do. Right, this is going to be opening, so I want to smush here. Okay, so see how I'm already planning how my cave is going to be. I'm going to have the opening here, and I'm going to have the opening over here. Right, so I just started dragging and pulling that paint, because I don't need the smushes, because you're only going to see the smushes. We're very technical here, aren't we? We're only going to see the smushes outside the opening. So I don't have to worry about the smushes in that part, because they're just going to be seen through the opening of the cave. All right. We got that? All right, we're getting it. That's all that matters. We're getting it. Now I'm just going to grab just blue and yellow, and I want to make this part darker in here. Okay, we're going to make that part darker right there. So, like I said, I'm just smushing and playing. And if you notice, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, right? So that gets some darker pieces, but I'm not losing that yellow that we had going on. So I was just bouncing back and forth, and I'm going to smush again where I want my cave opening to be. So you guys, one thing you want to practice as you are painting is already getting the idea in your head going on the tippity top. Already getting the idea in your head how you want this stuff to go. Sue, you just walked in. They didn't turn the water. I'm watching. Maybe this will help my mood. Yes, Sue. Hi. All right. So, well wishes to Sue. Hopefully whatever's busted will get fixed. We got you, Sue. No worries. All right. So, next thing, I'm going to be doing brown rocks and cave. So, and I'm going to take Fluffy because he's dirty, and I just need my first layer of color. I'm not going to be sectioning anything out yet. We just need some color on this canvas. So, right here I got messes going on. So, I'm going to grab blue, red, yellow, white, and I'm just throwing this all on my brush. Just loaded it up with all this color. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to come in here, and it's blue, right? I got like a blue color. So I'm going to grab more yellow, and I'm going to grab more white and smush this on. Like I said, it doesn't really matter what this is, because I'm going to go back in and be putting layers on top of it. I just need to fill this canvas with something. I need to fill it with something. So I'm going to grab more red, the next pile, yellow, and white. Let's see if it's a little more brown. Oh, there we go. See that? I needed more red. We needed more red. But that's okay. Like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point, because you are just putting in and filling in your canvas and thinking in your mind how you want this to be. Okay, so this doesn't matter, and I'm going to go in this part up here that I arched around before, right? And so red, yellow, a little bit of white, some blue, a big old mess on my brush, and we're just throwing it on here. We don't see, and this is what I want you guys to learn, because, all right, so this is what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, because we have Nosy Gnome on Tuesday, so there's not going to be a how-to Tuesday, and the Friday after that is the tulip painting. Okay, and there's a few things that I want to tell you is that doing that painting is in a painterly style, let me say. So it is texture, all right, and if you notice, just throwing this paint on here very haphazard, very all over the place, I am creating texture. All right, see, look, I've already got texture. See all that? As I'm throwing this on here all over the place. And those are the things that you want to accomplish when you paint, and you want I want you to kind of, you know, because we do things kind of exactly, like the cute stuff. Lines are in a certain place. Things are done a certain way. And I want you guys to start learning how to do how to paint, because we're going to do it with the tulips, how to paint creating texture and not necessarily having everything perfect. So, Tina B, this is definitely something you're going to enjoy, because painting this way, it doesn't matter. The details don't matter. So, Lisa V, you're probably going to hate it. I shouldn't say hate, that's a strong word. You're going to dislike it. And Tina B, you're going to like it a lot. So, you like it already. There you go. Okay, so, that being said, I'm going to put this Fluffy away before I get myself into trouble, because he's just too much fun. And I'm going to wipe him off before I put him in my water. I'm going to wipe him off before I put him in my water here. Just get all that excess paint out of him. Alright, and so I'm going to take my sip of coffee. I'm going to say hello to everybody. Give you a chance to catch up mustard if you're practicing along with me. If you guys are watchers or creepers, that's fine too. I love you all. You're all part of the fam. With my little curled bangs. So, there you have it. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to put flat pieces of rock in. Watcher over here. Kelly's my watcher. Ketchup, mustard, who wants a hamburger? I want to put flat pieces of rock in, because I want to have this be water coming in here. Okay? So I want flat pieces of rock. And let's do a little roll call. A little bit of roll call. Let's get ourselves all worked up and excited. Getting everything situated. So we have Sue is in the house, Lisa B, Tina M, Diane, Cheryl, Tina B, Cynthia, Gracie, Carolyn, and Kelly. Guys, Gracie came back and Carolyn came back for some more family fun. And Sue's hanging out with us. She needs a little cheering up. And Diane got her internet working, so we're all here. And Kelly wants a hamburger. All right, so I'm going to go back to Big Boy. Swirl Tap Dab Big Boy. And we're going to put some flat pieces of rock. Hubby heard you, now he wants a hamburger. Hi, hubby. All right, so we want some flat pieces. And you're hungry now? I actually had a hamburger today, believe it or not. So I'm going to grab this red. And I'm going to grab this dirty yellow. I got going on here. And I'm going to grab some of this dirty white I got going on here. And I want this a fairly light color. So I'm going to grab a corner full of blue. Alright, just a corner full. See that? Just a little bit. Alright, and we're going to do a little dab, but that's all we're going to do. We're not going to over mixy anything. Alright, and I'm going to come in here, and the light's going to be coming in from this way. So this area over here is going to be my lightest area. Now, what I want you to see, what just happened. Hi, Robert. Oh, that was my dad's name. I actually have that. Here, look. I actually have that tattooed on my arm. It'll be backwards, but it says Bobby's Girl, because that was my father's name. See, and I have Dad on top. So, liking it already. So, without over mixing and just putting the colors on my brush, see how I got all that separation? And I didn't have to do a thing. Not a thing. Okay? So, that is another thing that I want you guys to practice. I want you to practice just dunking your brush into different colors and then going for it. Right? And then going for it. I don't want you to turn around and do all this over mixy and getting like the perfect color. I want you to have all those different colors on your brush. Alright? So we're going to come in here and we're going to do some flat pieces of rock. Alright? That's what we're going to do. So, we got some here, and let's pull out a piece there. Alright, so all I'm doing is I put color on my brush. I showed you how to mix the color, and I'm just kind of pulling my brush along and doing a couple of swipes. And then, let's say this one has a ledge to it, so I'm going to pull down on it. Now, when I asked you guys, would you want to, what's cool is this is still wet, so it's picking up the dark color for me. So again, I don't have to work on shading, because it's already doing it for me. Having all that wet paint on here. So Kelly, you'll like this too, because you get to use a lot more paint. You don't have to worry about it being just a little bit, because if you notice, I'm taking that extra paint being on here, and I'm literally just going like this with my brush and then pulling it into what I painted, and I'm getting these shadowed without even doing anything. I'm literally putting my brush over here into that wet paint I had before, and then pulling it into the rock that I just made. And again, I'm adding more textured pieces over here. It's hard to see because it's dark, but you can see the brush strokes. See that? See how it's all purty? And I didn't even do nothing. So, Kelly, you'll like this too, because having that excess paint and having that excess color is actually an asset. It's actually beneficial to you. Alright, I'm grabbing more paint. I'm coming here. Let's put another one. Swoop, there it is. There's another rock. Right there. Just like that. This reminds me of the werewolf we did around Halloween. You didn't finish that one yet either. Yes, we did rocks at Halloween. That's right, because there was a big cliff in that. And the wolf was up on the top of the cliff. I remember. So now I'm just going back and forth between that dark and that light. I'm going back and forth between that dark and that light right there. Okay? So, bam. Just like that. We got rocks on the side. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I want it to be darker though. So, to have it darker, so how do I get them to look flat and not stacked? Okay, so that's going to come in later. But if you notice, this one looks flat because I just pulled it out and did a little pull in. This one looks like a ledge because I gave it a bottom part here. So it's flat on top, but then I gave it a ledge, adding this. This one is the whole side piece. So the top part is actually up here, and then this is the whole side that you see. This one, the top part's here, and I gave it a ledge. And this one, the top part's here, and I gave it a ledge. Yeah, so right now, when I put the water lines in is when you're going to be able to tell the difference, and when I do some more details. So when I get some more details on them, you'll see it come to life. I promise. All right, so I want these darker, so I'm grabbing more blue, red, yellow, and a smidge of white. Again, I'm dabbing just to see if I'm going to get something close to what I want. I have to add more red. All right, and I'm just dabbing to see if it's getting to, I'm gonna take the rest of this yellow. All right, and as I'm dabbing, I can see it's starting to get to the brown. So I'm gonna stop and see all that on my brush. All right. Right, so it's kind of a mixture of both going on. All right, so now I'm going to, so I'll do a few flat ones in the front, in the beginning here. So here's, that one is going to be flat. All right, that is just a flat rock. All right, and now I'm going to do one coming out, and he's going to have a ledge on him. Okay, so he's coming out, and he has a ledge on it. Right, and then this one we'll do coming out, and we'll make him flat. Okay, so he is flat, and let's put him into the water even more. All right, and then this one coming out is just going to be a big old rock. Just going to be a big old rock. That's it. And then again, this is dry over here, but now I'm pulling the color out from here, and I have it all extra in my brush, and I'm pulling it to go into the rest. Okay, so do this, that, and we'll do that. All right, so we're going to give this a chance to dry, and yep, the spacing helps, absolutely. So we're going to give this a chance to dry, because if I keep playing with it, the color is actually going to lift off. All right, and I want to put Big Boy in the water. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Those of you that are paying along with me can catch up mustard. Just put lines out there. Just put squiggles and lines, and if you want to do a little pull on some of them, practice with that, because it's all going to come together once we put the water lines in and the final details on these. So for now, just pull some paint out, and then if you want to put the ledges on some of them, put the ledges on some of them. Hear that big slurp I just did? I just did a mega slurp. So, as we're waiting for that to settle, swirl, tap, dab, I'm going to take out my fluffy, because I want to do the top part, but when I do this, my foliage, my green, is going to wind up getting framed out. So I want to make sure that my green is exactly the way I want it. So, for that being said, I'm going to grab some blue, and just a tiny bit, tiny bit, and I'm going to dab on my palette, and I got to grab some more yellow, because I used all the yellow making the brown. So, I have Mr. Nifty's going out today. I had a paint kit going out today. Paint kits are completely sold out. So, those of you who got one, Thank you so much. So just grabbing a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to come in here, and I want to just add in my last layer of green, because as I do this, you see I'm going over my rock here. We can do that. We could actually bring some of this into the cave. That's kind of fun too, right? So see how this rock automatically is like out there now, right? Because I just put some green over it. So now this rock is not in the cave anymore. I kicked him out. I kicked him out of the cave just by putting green in front of him. He's out of here. How fun is that, right? So I'm just grabbing blue, and I'm grabbing so a whole lot of blue and a little bit of yellow, and I'm smashing it on my palette here, and I'm just putting these extra dark areas in, right? All the way on the tippy top, because when I do my rocks, I'm going to wind up cutting this off, and I don't want to paint it twice, all right? And I don't want to paint my rocks twice, so I'm going to come in here and dab that in. And I have hardly any paint left on my brush, and I'm going to turn around and actually take some of that paint off. And now I'm going to grab just my yellow. And I'm going to grab just my yellow to really highlight everything that is in the sun. Okay? So I'm grabbing just my yellow now, and we're going to highlight everything that, just a little spot right there. We're going to highlight everything, but notice here, there, not everywhere, guys. Here, there, not everywhere. So, and there's a little green on my brush, so I can get these light green ones coming out. See how cool that is? And I didn't even have to work for it, because there's just a little green left on my brush, and it did it all by itself. All by itself. So around this edge, I'm going to put all these lighter colored smushes. I'm going to put all these lighter colored smushes in. And let's bring one down. Let's say there's like a little something hanging down from the sky there. Right? A little something. And I'm still just grabbing yellow. I'm just grabbing yellow and doing a dab with a dirty brush that has hardly any paint on it. Right? Hardly any paint on it. And look how easy I can smush all this in, right? Our smushing skills. Here, there, not everywhere. And I'm just kind of working it back and forth. Working it back and forth. That's it. Just working it back and forth. Put a little bit more in here. That's going to be really light all the way in the distance. We don't know what's going on back here. We have no idea. We don't know. We don't know. And then I'm going to grab just a little bit of that dark green right there. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to put some dark green, okay, to anchor some of those lighter ones that I did. So I'm just going to anchor them in with the smallest amount of dark green. The tiniest amount, because you're going to have dark areas even though the sun is filtering through, because it's going to create shadow. Let me lift this up so you can see what I did. Alright. Oh, hold on. 1 second. Alright, I gotta put everything down. 2 seconds. I need 2 seconds, not 1 second. There it is. Now you guys can see what I'm working with. I literally have to put it on the edge of the frame, see? So, there's going to be a little bit of dark. Up, it fell in anyway. Oh, I can't. See, this is the man upstairs telling me not to take myself too seriously. Alright, we're going to get this to stay. I'm determined now. The whole thing's probably going to pop out and hit the camera and everything's going to go flying. But we'll try not to have that happen. Alright. So, I'm putting some of the dark in here on my pieces coming down. Alright. So, with that being said, you guys want me to use the liner brush? You like that brush, right? You like when I use the liner brush. So, a liner brush, if those of you that don't know, if you don't have a liner brush, you can just use a detail brush like Mr. Nifty. These are Mr. Nifties. You get them free for whoever sends support. A liner brush is a brush that has really long bristles on it. And you need your paint to be extra wet, extra loose. So I'm just running my liner brush. I'm adding extra water to this black. And I'm pulling my liner brush through it. Alright. And I'm going to load it up nice and nice, just like that. And I'm going to come in here. And I'm just going to make all these little things happen. These little branches and pieces and whatnot. And every time you see me leave the canvas, I'm grabbing more paint. So we're going to make all these happy little trees, as Bob Ross says. Alright? So we're going to make all these little twigs and whatnot happen. And I'm just pulling my brush. You could do this with a detail brush. You can do the same thing. It's just this is less control. It's less control. That's what this is. So can you guys see what I'm doing? See? Aren't they cool? They're pretty cool. Pretty cool things going on over here. Alright, now we got to go to the guy that we kicked out. Give him a little tree hanging out here. Right? Just a little something, something, a little twig hanging out. And then over here, put some pieces in. There's a big old branch right there. So I am just, shoop, right? Big old branch just hanging out. Hanging out. And let's see, let's put another one right here. Going up. We don't know where it's going. We don't know. We just know it's going somewhere. That's all we know. Right there. Make this part a little bit thicker. Shoop, doop, 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 doop. There it is. There's our tree. Okay. So, alright, back to the cave, since that's what this is supposed to be about. I'm just having way too much fun. I'm having way too much fun. You guys got to be like, Eve, get back on topic. In fact, I'm going to do another little branch because these are just too much fun. You got to tell me, hey, Eve, we're learning about caves. But you know what time it is. It's tree time. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. So, now I'm going to be playing, right? Alright, so there we go. Okay, so if you have a liner brush, don't let it sit in your cup because you're going to bend the bristles down. That's going to happen. So you want to swirl, tap, dab a liner brush right away because if it's sitting in your cup, you're going to wind up bending the bristles because it hits the bottom of the cup and then that bends the bristles. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to turn around and we're going to do the next layer of our rocks. Alright, so I'm going to do the rocks on the side now since we're learning about painting a very cool painting. Yes, so this, so the rocks on the side, we're going to throw those in. Now, you can do these with, I'm going to do them with Big Boy because you guys have a Big Boy or a type of Big Boy at home. But you could also do these with a palette knife. All right, so you could also do these with a palette knife if you wanted to. I'm going to show you with Big Boy because everybody has a flat brush home or something like that. And we want to start putting the rocks on the side, okay? And since I did my green, now I won't have to repaint doing my green. So I'm going to grab that dark brown that we had before. All right, this brown color that I was working with before. And I'm going to come in. And this is the lighter side of things, so I'm going to come in, and all you need to do is like cut in these rock shapes, right? Just these jagged little pieces, all right? Sticking out and coming in, right? And you just want to give them like straight lines, okay? So, because what a cave is a big hole that was all rock at one point, all right? And maybe this water used to come through bigger and cut all this out. So all it is rocks stacked. That's all it is. So I'm going to grab some more blue. Actually, I'm going to grab a little bit of black and some of that brown, all right? Because then up in here is going to be even darker. So I grabbed some black with that brown, and I'm just cutting in all these different rock shapes, and I'm just filling it in. That's all I'm doing. So it's nothing really that tricky, because you're just making all these jagged lines of stacked rock. That's all you're doing. Hi everybody, hello. See? So you're just stacking rock, and you just want to make your colors. Obviously, this part of the cave is going to be dark, right? Because the light's coming in this way. So up here is going to be dark. So I'm just going to stack these pieces up here. And you can enclose the cave if you want to. I can go all the way across. I can turn around and leave it open. It doesn't really matter. You go all the way across. You're just going to make little pieces like this. See? And you're just going to give them... Hi, Bonnie! Hello, sweetheart! You're just going to give them sharp edges. That's it. Okay? And then you just want to make sure that the colors in your rock are either darker or lighter depending on where they are in your cave. That's the whole difference, right? So I did a whole how-to on mountains, rocks, boulders, all that kind of stuff. So it's all about the same thing. These are just stacked rocks. That's all there is to it. And like I said, so you can do it going all the way across. All right, and now I'm getting to the other side that I softened out and marked off as being the cave. So this is what I was telling you before about doing things that are painterly and pre-planning in your head, because now as I'm putting these rocks in, I already have it figured out the way I want it. I already have this nice dark texture, so if any of this doesn't wind up covering completely, it has this texture underneath it. So I don't have to stress it. I'm grabbing a little bit of black now with that brown. Oh, thank you so much. Right? Thank you so much, Betty. You already like that wall as it is. Well, it's your cave, Tina B. You can leave it any way you want to. So if you like the smooth wall of a cave, there you go. So you can leave it alone. In fact, I'll leave, you know what I'll do, hon? I'll leave part, I won't put stacked. I'll leave it alone so you know what to do to finish it off. Okay? So that was a really good idea, hon. So Bonnie and Betty is here. Betty sent stars. Thank you so much, Betty. That was so sweet of you. And I'll leave that alone so you know how to finish it off. I won't make it like it's stacked rock. Okay? So, say hello, hello. Bonnie and Betty I almost said Body and Benny. Alright, so I will leave this alone. I will just put a couple of rocks on top of it since I started. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bonnie. That was very sweet of you. Alright, so I'm grabbing black with this paint now. And I'm going to put in boop, boop, boo, 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 just more pieces. That's it. That's all you need to do. And if you don't over mix your paint and you leave all those separate colors, you're pretty much done. Because you're going to get all those different colors into your rocks and then you're done. Alright, so I didn't over mix my paint. And see that? Look at all that. See how nice that is? I have all these different colors in those rocks and I didn't do anything. All I did was dip my brush in the paint. Alright, so if you're going to leave this as is, the only thing you want to do is you want to define the opening. And notice I'm not doing a solid line. I'm sweeping with the brush. See that? I'm just sweeping it and putting some of those darker pieces in there. So that's what you want to do. I'm just sweeping and creating the curve. Right, so, and we're going to put a piece up here. Right, so this is very organic. It's very just kind of go with the flow type of exercise. Alright, so it's very, maybe there's a little jagged piece coming out there, a little jagged piece coming out there. Okay, so I have hardly any paint left on my brush, and I'm just kind of sweeping along. And then with those darker lines, I'm going to go next to it, and I'm just going to blend out some of those darker lines, right? I'm just smushing around those darker lines, okay? And I don't have any, look, there's nothing left on this brush. Thank you so much for the stars, guys, and the gifts, and that was really amazing. Thank you so much. Y'all warm my heart. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, so I am just kind of softening that all out. And now I'm going to grab, I need to make more brown. So you guys, if you weren't here earlier, this is how I make the brown, alright? It's basically every color mixed together. Blue, red, yellow. Dab, dab, dab to see if it's close to what you want. I need more yellow. Dab, dab, dab. That's kind of gray-y green. I need more red. Dab, dab, dab. And there you go. And then you leave it all separate on your brush. See? All separate on your brush. That's what you do. Alright, so we're going to come down here. And we're going to, we kicked that guy out. So we're going to put this piece in here. Okay. And then we're going to put another piece right there. Bonnie said, I appreciate all that you teach us. As you know, I like to experiment. Bonnie, Bonnie, you got to tell everybody what you did, because that was really, really awesome what you did. It looked really cool. So, but I'll let you tell everybody because it was your project. So, since this is the dark side of the, come to the dark side. Since this is the dark side of the cave, I'm grabbing black. So literally, I have a messy mess of brown, all different colors in it. And I'm grabbing some black on my brush, dunking it in there. I'm not mixing anything. What is that on the far left of the wall? What colors? So this is all the brown that I've been making. And I added black to it. On this side. That's all I did. So I'm adding black to the messy brown mixture that I just made. Okay, and then I'm going to add I'm going to add another dark little piece right there. Sweep that in. I'm going to make this dark right here. Put that in. So that is all I'm doing. And now I'm just grabbing the brown and I'm grabbing the black. And I have all this paint in my brush. See that? How it's all globbed in the middle there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smush my brush and get a whole other mixture of colors. So you don't have to waste it. You can just smush your brush. Like I said, I painted it. Oh yes, Bonnie, tell him. Pay attention to this, fam. So Bonnie painted a huge canvas using real sand, real shells, and real driftwood and real rocks. It was so cool. It came out amazing. It was totally awesome. Okay, so now I'm getting closer to the edge here. So I'm going to grab that brown mixture that I made and I'm going to grab a smidge of white. Just a smidge. Yeah, it was totally cool. And I'm going to come in here now and I'm going to put in these shapes that are the lighter color now. Okay, and see how that is like a solid? That's because my paint on my palette is starting to get mixed together. So, yes, Bonnie, I would definitely top it with resin. Absolutely 6,000%. So, for me to get all that nifty stuff going on, I got to work at it now. I got to work at it. So, we're going to make some more brown. I'm grabbing all of the paint that's left over in my messy palette here. And I'm going to grab yellow. So, like I said before, it is, to make brown, is yellow, red, blue, and I just splattered red paint all over my wall. Oh boy, oh boy. And I got a red finger because I had to grab more red paint. Yeah, I would definitely cover it with resin. So, Sue, you were asking me what colors were they. That was the colors, okay? So, a lot of red, a lot of blue. If you want it dark, a little bit of yellow. If you want it lighter, a lot more yellow. A lot more yellow and red. If you want it darker, more blue and red, and a little bit of yellow. Anyway, you could play and you will get these colors. So, I have to turn around and kind of work on this rock a little bit. So I put in a lighter top and now I'm giving it an edge. Okay, so we're going to put in some pieces going straight down. And then I'm going to do some pieces going across. Just like that. And then I could turn my brush the other way. And we just make a rock. Okay, so now this rock has sides to it. Right? It has the side coming down this way, then here and here. Has the side in the front. And has the top part. And all I did was change, grab a little smidge of white there, and I'm going to go across the top with this. Just like that. And you don't have to make it a square, so I could pull this out a little bit further, pull this one a little shorter. So you don't have to make it a square. Yeah, I don't know if you could share it on the live or not, Bonnie. But, yeah, it was totally cool. Now I'm going to grab the darker brown. And I'm going to come in here. And it's also about brush strokes, guys. So if you noticed, when I did the top, I went this way. When I did the side, I went down. Okay, so it's all about putting your brush strokes the right direction. And yes, so doing the rocks and doing the whatnots is all about just making sharp edges. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to grab this lighter brown without black, and I'm going to come in here on that piece and give it a little more love. Like it's sticking out from the wall that Tina B liked. She liked this wall, so we left it a wall with just shadows going through it. And you can add more to this wall, you know, and you could add more to your rocks. So the more layers you do and the more fun stuff you do, the better it's going to look. That's all there is to it. So, you know, as you're playing, this is all playing. It really is all playing. That is all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything special. I am just taking all these different colors and making all of these edges. And all of a sudden, it's looking like I have rocks. And I didn't do anything that special, guys. I really didn't. So now I'm going to go in, and since I have the darker color, I want to make all these darker. So, and if you notice, I don't care that my brush is globby, goopy, nothing. Let the brush do the work. Have all these extra little colors on it. I'm going to do a little... Notice I'm not making a solid stroke. I'm kind of dabbing these in here. Right? I'm dabbing. We're just doing a dab. That's all we're doing. Alright? And then over here... Alright, Tina B. So this is where you're going to get your flats and your edges. Alright? So this is where this is going to come in. So over here, for the top part, I'm going to grab a microscopic amount of white, and I'm going to grab some red. And I'm going to come in my brown. Okay? So... over here, I'm going to come out, just doing dashes. I'm going to come out. I'm going to finish off the top there. Just make a little edge. And I'm going to do these dashes coming out. And this, I went out of my lines, so I had to grab more brown. Are we surprised that I went out of my lines? No. So this is the top. Now I'm going to grab some black. And this, right here, is the side. Okay? So, and I can grab a little bit of the red. And I can very lightly put some of the red in here. And that is how you get your flat. Right? There is your flat. And your side. Okay? This one is going to be just a flat rock. And I have all this paint in my brush. So I'm going to smush my brush. I'm going to smush all that excess paint out of my brush. That's okay, Bonnie. I could post it for you. I have it. I'm going to smush all the paint out of my brush. I'm going to do some zigzag zooming. This is just a big round rock. Alright, I'm going to go around that other rock that I made. We're rocking it out tonight. Oh yeah, making rocks. And this guy is just a round rock. Okay? That's it. So, since I put the side edge on him, that looks more flat. This is just a round rock. So this would be like the top of the rock, and then I'm coming down the sides of it. Okay? So that's how that works. So I'm going to grab some red paint, and on the top of the rock, I'm going to put some of that red on there. Okay? And I can make this a completely flat rock. Yeah, I'll post it for you, Bonnie. No worries. Oh, I definitely love to show off Fam's creations. Yeah, we're totally doing it. 6,000%. And Tina B, when I go to put the water lines in here, depending on how I put the water lines is going to make it whether it's a completely flat rock or it's a rounded rock. Yeah, we're rocking it out tonight, baby. I'm going to put a little red in here. I'm going to put a little red in that one. So when you have these different colors on your brush, remember I said that painterly style? Like you don't have to really follow any rule of thumb or anything. So I'm going to put some red onto this rock right here. I'm going to put some red on this guy back in here because I have it on my brush. Let's put some red in the wall, right? Because that's towards the opening. That would be a little lighter. Could be nice if you saw what I was doing. So I'm putting more dabs and dashes in the wall here. So that's what I was talking about before, about doing stuff in a painterly style. Alright, so I'm going to swirl tap dab my brush. I'm going to give everybody a chance to catch up mustard. Those of you that are painting along. And then we're going to do the other side. We're going to do the lighter side of things. So I have to finish this piece right here. Then I'm going to show you how to do the lighter side because you're going to see more details and more things going on with those. So we're basically building off of what we just did, except making things look a little lighter. And I'm going to show you how to put the water in and the sun rays, and we're going to be all set. So catch up mustard for a minute. Thank you guys so much for the stars. That is amazing. I really appreciate it. And if you don't want to do the stars, I do have Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. Those of you that send me a tip are going to get Mr. Nifty's. I sent out Mr. Nifty's today. I sent out a brush set today. So that was really cool. Let's go over the paintings coming up. And the reason I'm going over this painter, I don't know how to word it, like painterly style or creating texture, not worrying about the details too much, having extra paint on your brush, like all of the things that I was telling you guys not to do because we were doing something very specific. Okay, like we were doing a shape or an object and it had to be very specific. You're waiting on your brush kit. That went out. Yep, brush kit's on its way. So when you're not doing something very specific, you can turn around and have more fun putting excess paint on your brush, doing dashes and dabs and really fulfilling those things, because we have, this is Friday, all right? So this is more of an exact painting, right? So we're going to use a little bit of paint and we're going to build our way up, all right? Very exact lines, certain things going on. So this is with the details and having a little bit of paint. Okay, and then we've got Nosy Gnome that Tuesday. So the reason I'm telling you that this stuff this Tuesday is because after Nosy Gnome, again, another exact painting. Very defined lines, okay? Building up the paint, all of those good things. Everything's certain colors, okay? So, except for his hair. So, when we get to, that's Tuesday. So Friday is this painting. This painting is what I'm talking about. I didn't do exact lines. It's very, see, it's not exact lines. It's not exact colors. Everything's smushing and doing different types of color. And see, even the texture in the roof, the clouds, the sky has texture to it. See how the sky has texture in it? Okay? That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm going over it tonight. See her hat? Her hat isn't exact. See, it's just brush strokes. Okay? Even in her skirt, it's brush strokes. So, thank you, Gracie. So that's what I am explaining to you tonight, because we're going to be doing this in not next Friday, the following Friday, and it's not an exact painting. It's basically getting texture and movement and suggestions of colors, and it's different than what we've been working on, but it's something that a lot of you might appreciate better. Right, so you see that in watercolor, colorless, and you have a hard time, Lisa V, painting loose, right? And Bonnie's excited about the windmill. So it's a different type of painting. Lisa V, you're probably going to not like it. Yeah, Tina M, you like it being more, I know, I call it painterly, but there's probably better, painting loose, Lisa V put it right. So painting more of a loose style was what you'd be able to call it. So it's a whole different animal. But I wanted to do it that way because I notice a lot of you out there, Tina B and Kelly and Tina M, you guys are loosey-gooseys, right? You're not into the details as much. So this kind of stuff, you can just swoop your brush, right? You'll try it and then you might wind up going back to neater. That's what could happen. So I have this brown here and I want to make it lighter. And it has sunlight on it. So I'm going to grab a whole bunch of yellow and put that in my brown. And I'm going to grab a little bit more red and put that in my brown. So we have it being more of a lighter brown. Yellow and red I added to it. Okay? So you want to do the tulips and windmill because you went to Holland a while ago. It's more artistic and less color book-like. Yes, Tina M, exactly. It's a good way to explain it. Good job. See, you guys are good at this. You know what we're in sync, which is kind of scary, but you know what, hi, you know what I'm trying to say, which is good. So, because it's in the brain and sometimes it doesn't make it out the mouth. Okay, so I put more yellow and more red into my brown. All right, because this is where the sunlight's coming in. So the sunlight's going to hit here. So I'm going to put some strokes on there. And if you notice, just by putting that little square, I made a front and a side. Now, if I want that to be just a side, I'll put it all the way through. If I wanted that to be a front and a side, I would have cut it and then put darker. So over here, we're going to do Tina B's side of the cave over here of just having the curved rock. Okay? Now, that, I didn't work at that. That was in my brush. See that? See that mess right there? So if I pull my brush flat, look, I'm getting sun highlights and I'm not even trying to get them. It is in my brush. The color is in my brush. Yes, that's going to be so cool, Sue, because you got to get, it was probably amazing there. Now I'm turning my brush the other way, and I'm kind of just Here, there, not everywhere. Dabbing these colors in, and the colors are in my brush. I'm not putting these colors in. They're already there. They're already there. They're already there already. And you like it anyway, it's done. I love you, Tina. Right? Because my paint, see, it's all a mess of colors. It's not one solid color. It has all a bunch of different colors in it. You can see it better now that it's the lighter paint. See how there's globs of yellow, globs of red, the browns in there. Okay? And I'm literally just going to take my brush. I'm going to dab it just a couple times in that mess. So I'm going to get that mixture of color on my brush. And now I can go in and put this on here. And it's going to be all different colors for me without having to work at it. So I'm going to put the top of the rock there. Okay, and we're going to put the top of the rock on this one. And we're going to put, this one is a flat rock, so we're just going to zigzag zoom. And since I had all that textured shadow underneath, see this? See how this is lighter and darker right there? So when I go, I'm filling up my brush again. When I go on here and dab this in, the shadow, you've used leftover paint colors mixed together, get some unexpected cool colors. That's exactly right, Bonnie. So since I did the shadow before, it's already in there. It's already there already. I don't have to recreate it. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to give this a big old piece going on and just doing an angle. I'm going to pull this through. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to give this a big old piece. Need more paint on my brush. Let's give this a piece dropping down. Just like that. Cut a little piece going up, right? So that's a big old rock there. And then the cutting up part, I'm going to grab some yellow paint. And I'm just going to swoop, swoop, right? Just in the brush strokes. Just in the brush strokes. So I'm going to put a couple little pieces going down, right? Down for the sides. Across for the top. Okay? That's all you need to do. And then you have a rock. I can grab a little bit of black, a smidge, a microscopic amount of black, and I can come in here and I'm going to wipe some of that black off because that was too much. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add a really dark piece. So now this rock, right, cut some into the top, just became a three-sided rock, right? I have that side, the front side, and the top of it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some more tiny smidge, microscopic amount of black with my brown. And I'm going to come in here and put the sides of the rocks that had the sides. And notice I'm pulling down. Notice I'm pulling down to put those in there. And I'm just sneaking a little corner in there with the corner of my brush. And this one on it has a side, so I'm going to pull down. Okay, this one was our flat rock, so I'm just going to add some fun stuff to it here. Just going to zigzag zoom and see what happens. We're just going to zigzag zoom and see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to grab some of my yellow and my brown. And I'm going to zigzag zoom. Oop, need more yellow. Zigzag zoom on top of this. Give it a lighter shade. Okay, here, there, not everywhere. Same with the top of this one. Gonna zigzag zoom. Okay, and I'm gonna put, grabbing a microscopic amount of black. I gotta put this edge in. Okay, and look at those stripes. I didn't even try to get stripes. I was just in my brush like that. So, if there's anything that you can remember for tonight is just load that brush up, all different colors, and play with it. See what comes out. Because rocks have all sorts of different colors in them. And the only thing you have to pay attention to is what's tops, what's sides. If you're doing one with 3 different sides, and that has to do with the brush stroke. Okay? That has to do with the brush stroke. So the top would be getting pulled. The side is coming down. The darker side is coming down. Okay? That's all you need to do. I'm going to add some more, the lighter color over here. And then, if you notice what color is coming out of your brush, you can play and add it wherever you want to, like I'm doing. Lighter colors are coming out of my brush. And I know the sun's going to be coming in this way. So, since my brush is giving me these lighter colors, I'm going to put them where I want. So now I'm going to grab yellow with my brown. And we got to come over here and do this big guy. And now I'm just cleaning out all the paint from my brush. That's all I'm doing. I'm just cleaning out all that paint that was in my brush. That's it. So we're going to put in this big old rock right over here. And I'm going to grab some little bit of black with my brown. Whoop, too much black. And look at your brush. Look at your brush, because if you don't look at your brush, like I just noticed I had too much black, if I didn't look at my brush just then, I would have had a whole big streak of black on here that I didn't want. Okay, so look at your brush. Look at what's going on in your brush, right? Look at what colors are going on. Is it light? Is it dark? And then you know where to put it to play with it. Okay? Then you know where to put it to play. Play, 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 play. That's all we're doing. We're playing with color. So, this way, you get what you want. Alright, so we need to let that dry. While that's drying, right, little bit of ketchup, mustard. Who wants a hamburger? I'm going to do some roll call. I'm going to show you how to put the water lines in. I'm going to show you how to put the sun rays in. We're going to do a little bit here and there, and we're going to call it a night. So, let's see who I got hanging out with us tonight. We got all sorts of fan members hanging out. And same bat channel, same bat place on Friday. What? We got some new fam. We got some old fam. We got all sorts of good stuff going on. Bonnie likes it. Do you like it a lot, Bonnie? That is the question, right? So if you guys notice, if any of you are on TikTok, I'm starting the TikTok videos. I can share a piece of them to the Facebook, but the full videos are on TikTok. We have Sue in the house, Lisa B, Tina M, Diane. Diane needs to catch up on all her paintings, ketchup, mustard. Cheryl's here, Tina B, Cynthia, Gracie and Carolyn and Kelly and Bonnie and Betty. We're all just hanging out, having a good time. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to take, she likes it a lot. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch flat. So, it is just like Big Boy, except half the size. Right? So, I'm going to swirl, tap, dab them. And I'm going to grab my dirty brown that's darker with the black in it. and I'm going to come out in here and I'm going to do a shoreline. So I have the dark paint on the tip of my brush, nice and flat brush, and I'm just going to zigzag zoom, right? And you could skip over a piece of foliage like it's in the water. I'm just going to zigzag zoom a shoreline in there. And then on this side, you really won't see one because this is all hanging over. But if you wanted to add something, right, I'm going to add a little tiny bit. Just by doing little dabs, I'm going to add a little bit of shoreline right there. It's sneaking and peeking on us right there. Just a little tiny smidge. Just a smidge. Right where that really light yellow was. And I'm going to dab over here because foliage is hanging out on top of it. Okay, and since the sun's coming this way, I'm going to wipe off my brush and I'm going to grab some yellow. I'm going to grab some yellow paint. I didn't clean my brush, but I wiped it off and grabbed yellow, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put some yellow pieces. I don't know if you can see that close up. Yellow pieces on the shoreline, see? So we're going to put some yellow pieces on that shoreline. Just like that. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to clean off my brush. And now we need water lines. So I'm going to grab my white paint. Now, you want your white paint to be nice and loose and thin. So if it's not nice and loose and thin, add a little bit of water to it. Okay, so I cleaned off my brush and now I'm adding a little bit of water to my white paint. I want it to be nice and loose and thin so it flows nice when I go do my zigzag zooms. Okay, and you're going to notice how the water lines in our cave are going to make the difference whether a rock is completely flat or if it has an edge to it. So I'm going to wipe all that excess off my brush. And then I'm going to just put the tip of my brush in the white, just the tip. And back in here, we need a starting point between sky and water. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say right here, shoop. And notice I didn't do a solid line. I did all these little pieces. Okay, and then they're going to disappear around the bend. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here. And then on my shoreline, and notice I'm going back and forth. On my shoreline, I'm going to put the water lines. And I'm going to use the corner and sneak some in there because I don't feel like grabbing another brush. I'm going to flip my brush over because I have more paint on this side and we have to put them on this little piece that we made before. Okay, now we're working into the cave. So this guy, he is, so say he's going up and then this is the top of him. So you're going to see, grab some more paint on my brush, you're going to see some water lines coming out. Not all the way around it, just a little bit. Just a little bit going up the side. And then you're going to come in and you're going to put it onto the edge of that rock. Okay? Now this rock, this is the top part, so there's no water lines on that part. And this is the edge, so there's no water lines on that part. The water lines aren't going to come in until you hit that piece right there. The water line on the shoreline on the left made it look like a shoreline instead of a tree limb. Cool. That's right. So, all these sneaky little things Bonnie's catching. So, Tina B, that's how. Now, you could do a little bit up the side because it might be doing something on the other side of the rock we can't see. So, you can do a couple pieces up the side of it. But, and if you go onto your rock, that's what Spit's for. And see how this just made this a whole side and made that part be the top. It's going to be easier to see on the lighter rocks. Okay, now this one, if you want this rock to be flat and in the water, you're going to go all the way around it with water lines. You're going to go all the way around it with water lines. And now all of a sudden, this became a flat piece. The whole piece is flat and going into the water. Right? Still going back and forth. But now this is like you can set up your chair and your grill on it and whatnots. Because this whole piece is flattened into the water. I'm going to have to hit that with brown. I really went out of the line there. So, I'm going to grab my big boy. I'm going to grab my brown paint. And we're just going to fix that. There we go. Alright, so this whole piece is a piece that's going into the water flat. Like a little beach. Like a little beach flat rock. Okay. And then I never finished this rock, which is okay. So, now we're going to go to the lighter side of things. And it's the same concept. Alright, so we're going to turn around and see if you can guess how the water lines are going to go before I even put them on. Alright, so that is going to make the difference between a rock being flat and even with the surface, or is it going to have a side and a top to it. Okay, so this one has a side, so we're just going to put it on the side, and you can go a little bit up just because it's coming around the rock. Okay, and then this one has a side, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come out from the side, and you're going to do a little bit up, smaller lines, because it's coming around the rock. Now this one, we're going to make it flat with the water. So, since it's flat with the water, it's going to go all the way around. It's going to go all the way around the rock, because the rock is flat with the water. So, see how that just made it swoop, like it's right even with the water. It's the same height and level of the water. So that's what I was telling you, Tina B, how the water lines are going to make the difference between whether it's a rock with sides or if it's a rock that's flat to the water. And you can see it better with the lighter rock. And since that's flat to the water, I'm going to grab Big Boy again. Swirl, tap, dab them. I'm going to grab some yellow paint. And I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to make it so it is completely flat. With the water. Okay, and I'm going to add a little yellow highlight on here since it's on my brush. On that top. I'm going to add a yellow highlight here on this top. I'm going to add little yellow highlights in here on the rounded part. Be nice if you could see what I was doing. I'm going to add a little yellow highlight on this little square piece hanging out. Okay, and we're going to do a little piece here. Blend it in. And a little bit on this one, why not? Blend it in. A little bit here, blend it in. A little bit here. Blend it in. Okay. So I went along the top, sides, and I'm going to do this one. Little zigzag zoom. And we're going to do this rock. This big guy right here. He's got all sorts of things going on, so I'm just grabbing yellow paint. That's all I'm grabbing. And little pieces of him here and there catching some sun. We don't know what's going on. He's just a big old rock. Okay, now I got to finish my waterline. And we're going to come around this bad boy right here. Right there. Remember, straight across, guys. And a little bit up the edge because it's coming around the rock. Shoop. Right? And those are smaller lines around the edge. Then you bring it out longer, and then you bring it in tight again. Alright. So, and then you could turn around and put water lines in the middle of your water too. You could put a rock in the middle of your water if you want to. Okay, so, because this is moving. So you just want to put some zigzag zoom lines going through it. I like water lines. I tend to go waterline happy. It's just the way I am. Okay, so, like I said, you could always add a rock in your water. All right, let's do that. Let's have a little fun. So I'm going to grab that brown paint with the 1/2-inch brush. I want to come in here and say there's a rock that lives right there. Boop. There he is. There he is. Little zigzag zoom action. Flatten him out on the bottom. Boop, 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 boop. And let's give him a dark side. Come to the dark side. So I'm going to grab a little bit of black. Put the black in there, and I'm just dabbing. I'm not making him solid black. I'm just dabbing black in certain areas. I'll wipe my brush off. Grab a little bit of that light brown. Put the light brown on him. There we go. Got a glob, so push that in. Grab Mr. Nifty. If anybody wants Mr. Nifty's and you get sent me support, make sure to get your address. Grabbing Mr. Nifty here with that loose white paint. And we got to put the water going around our rock. Just like that. There he is. There's our rock. Hanging out. He's hanging out. Okay. So, I'll give you guys, I don't know what's with my camera stand, but you guys are just earthquaking all over the place. We're just having all sorts of earthquake. So, the theme of this was cave. So, all you need to remember is a cave is just stacked rock. To do those rocks, put all different colors on your brush. Play around with what comes out. Then, you have to know where the light is coming into the cave. So, you want to make the one side lighter than the other. Okay, you want dark pieces, light pieces, flat rocks, rocks that have sides to them. Right? I showed you top, front, side. Okay, we have a couple of those. We have one right here, top, front, side. We have one right here, top, front, side. Okay, we have a rock that's jutting out. We have the rounded pieces, which you just play with your colors and add dark and light to them. have those pieces going in and out. And now we're going to do the sun rays. And we're going to be all set. So, we need sun rays. So, what you want to do is I'm going to swirl tap that big boy. And I want to make sure I have nice, clean brush. What kind of brush? Clean brush. Clean. So, you don't want any color in your brush at all. And you want to make sure that you have nice, loose, white paint. So we're going to do it in white first. And then we are going to do it, put yellow on top of it. So, super clean. You got that right. So, just on the tip of my brush. These have to be straight. Straight. How do they have to be? Straight. Okay, so you want to figure out your angle of your light coming in to your cave. Alright guys, so you want to figure out your angle of your light coming into your cave. And then you're going to do straight lines. So you want to make sure you're going to move your hand, not the brush. Make sure everything's dry when you go to drag your hand, which I might mess up with this rock that I did, but we'll see what happens. Okay, and I'm going to hold it close. Yes, super straight. Light is always coming in straight lines. I'm going to hold it close, but I'm using a light touch. If you want to do the tree trick, you can do the tree trick too, of holding it back here and pulling. That'll work, but I'm holding it long ways, not straight up and down. So I'm going to turn around and say the light is coming in from this little piece right here. So I'm going to put my brush in there and I'm going to pull with a very light touch. Okay? See? So, and then where the foliage is, I'm just going to soften that out. I'm going to add a little spit to it. And it probably would have helped if my finger was clean. But you can always fix that up later. Okay, more paint. Nice and loose. Come in. Start at that foliage piece. Follow along what I did already. Pull. Now I did a little bit of a wiggle, so I have to go back in and straighten it out. Okay, same thing. Okay, come in here, pull. Just like that. I'm flipping my brush over and I'm connecting those two. Swoop. Right, I come in here and make this one have a little bit more to it. Swoop. There we go. There's our light rays. What? These are fun. Once you get the hang of them, they're fun. So I'm going to dip my brush in a little bit of water. I'm going to grab some more white paint. Nice and loose and thin, just on the tip of the brush. Nice, super clean brush. And we're going to come over here and we're going to pull. Swoop. There it is. Oop, I wiggled. We have a wiggler. Let's just straighten it out if you wiggle. Swoop. There it is. Okay, and I'm just going to come in here. I'm just flipping my brush around and just kind of pulling these and softening them. And let's do, you want to do one more? Let's do one more. I like doing these. These are a lot of fun. Once you get the hang of it, they're really fun. Okay, so I'm going to come over here into the foliage. And we're going to pull. And you can pull at an angle. You can make it wider on the bottom and more narrow on top. That's okay. Like I can come over here and as I'm pulling, pull it out more like this. So this way it's wider on the bottom and gets more narrow towards the top. And then what you do is with the leftover paint on your brush, you just kind of fill in those areas. Okay, and then I'm going to soften this out up here. Just going to do a little zigzag zoom over it. And I'll add more foliage to the top of it. Okay, so now I'm going to take Fluffy. I'm going to take Fluffy, swirl, tap, dab, Fluffy, and I'm going to grab my yellow paint. And I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to clean up the foliage that the light was coming through. So that has to be bright yellow. And we're going to clean up all the tops of the light rays. I couldn't find your practice paints. You're doing your version with Winsor, and I added some iridescent water. I'm just having fun. Awesome, Sue. That sounds like you're having a great time. I like it. I love it. I like it a lot. All right, see? So I just cleaned up with the yellow. So awesome. Yep. And then once this white dries, swirl, tap, dab, big boy. And I'm going to go over what I just did, but with some yellow paint. I'm going to go over it with some yellow paint. So I'm going to do very light up here because I don't want it to disappear. But when I get into my cave, I'm going to press harder. And we're just going to put hints of yellow. So very light up here because I don't want it to blend out with the yellow sky. And when I get into my cave, I'm going to press harder. And then you could back and forth it. Okay, so everything is soft and light. Like I said, see how this kind of disappeared? So you don't want to lose all of it. So I'm going to go very, very light on the white part here, and then when I get into my cave, I'm going to press harder because you'll see it against the dark rocks. And I'm just going to soften it out through the whole thing, and then that's it. So there you guys go. There is our cave. You guys can totally do this. I know you can. 6,000%. So I could keep adding more details to it. I could keep, you know, I would turn around and go back in, and thank you guys so much. I would go back in and even add more browns and more highlights and more little nooks and crannies and whatnots to these. So you just need to turn around and play. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Yes, Sun-Drenched Cave. So, you just need to play. That's it. You know, dark, lighter on top. Like I said, you can go in with smaller brushes and make more exacta if you want. You are so welcome, Lisa V. I hope you all play with this. That's all you need to do. I hope you have fun with it. It's nice and simple and easy for you. And like I said, if you want to go back in and add even more details to your rocks, I did have a how-to on how to paint mountains, rocks, and boulders. So I'm not going to kill you with the how to paint rocks. You're so welcome, Tina. Hey, there's another Tina, guys. We have Tina M, Tina B, and now we have Tina H. We got Tina cubed, everybody. Welcome to the fam, Tina H. You're so welcome, Tina B. Welcome to the fam, Tina H. Am I going to do something for Women's Month? Well, we have Mermaid Party. Thank you so much for the stars, Sue. Oh, and you feel better. See, look at that. Isn't it amazing how that works? We have a Mermaid Party coming up. It's going to be in April, though. You're so welcome, Tina M. You're so welcome, everybody. We got Tina Cube now, Tina H, part of the fam. Oh, yeah. You're so welcome, Tina M. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. Hi. Hi, Tina H. We got Tina M, Tina B, now we got Tina H. I love it. I like it a lot. So, you guys can have fun with this cave. Like I said, you can go back in, add more details. Just pay attention to your sides, that's all. Tops, sides, fronts, all of that happy stuff. You can do it. I know you can. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for the stars tonight. That you were amazing. You all warm my heart. I really appreciate the support. You guys keep the lights on, so and art supplies aren't free. And like I said, PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. The links are on the event page. The links are on my business page. They're easy enough to find. It's soda time. Good night, Lisa V. So, Bonnie, I will share your beach project that you did. Cheers, everybody. With my soda. Anybody watching the replay, if you have any questions, 6,000% message me and ask me. The best way to contact me, fam, is Facebook Messenger. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Always a pleasure. So that is the best way to reach me. And on that note, I'm going to say goodnight with my nice hair. So, thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. And you all warm my heart. Have fun and go create, okay? Good night.